On today's episode of the Baka Gamers Podcast,
Watched anime. I didn't discover it on my own. I discovered anime through my brother actually. He would stay up late at night, and me being a little sister following her brother, I wanted to spend time with him. So one day I just stayed up with him, and then I saw he was watching Inuyasha and whatnot. And granted, I watched Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh and whatnot, but I like High Top. I didn't realize that was like anime. It wasn't until I stayed up with him that night and then saw like Inuyasha and whatnot that I realized, oh, this is anime. And then it became kind of a regular thing for us. That's how we spent most of our time together, usually just watching anime and talking about it. That was how we bonded, honestly. So, and I think that's part of the reason I got so into anime. Like, I don't want to make it sound like I have a brother con or something, but
nah.
it's okay.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Baka Gamers Podcast. On this podcast, me and my friends chill, relax, and talk about all things anime and video games. And on tonight's podcast, we're going to be talking about how anime has changed over the years for each of us. But before we get started, I'm going to introduce the usual suspects. First off, we got my boy Glow.
How's it going?
Nai.
I want to play Among Us. Hi.
What up?
Aoi.
Hi.
And Charlie.
Hey.
Who just munching on that mic.
Sorry.
Why'd you call her out?
Yeah, right?
Even while I was doing the intro, she was just crunching on the mic, yo. I heard that. I was like, you know what?
She wasn't crunching when you introduced her.
No, I wasn't.
No one would have known until you probably.
I saw that square move, yo. But anyway, so as always, before we get started, we usually have a little mini news topic before we get into the main topic. And tonight, I feel like I want to start it off last week. Yeah, last week we had a lot of big gaming news that came out. And I want to first start off with that Pokemon Violet and Scarlet trailer. We got more information about that. So real quick, guys, how'd you feel about it?
Didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it?
Why you? Wow.
Weren't you making comments about it?
Yeah, I literally said before we started recording that I didn't see it yet.
He was making uninformed, opinionated statements.
Per usual, that's the brand is strong. That's part of the brand.
I gotta stick with it.
I will say this though.
Yeah.
I will say,
You want to say something?
Yeah.
I do. You guys, you guys forgot about T.
Oh, I'm sorry, T. Jesus. And we go. T's on mic too.
My presence is an enigma.
You forgot, but I wasn't going to call you out. I was just like, oh my god.
Damn. We have a person in the wings for the time being, but our boy T's here too.
Yeah, I'm hanging back on everybody. I promise I'll be in
sharing a mic.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Bye.
We're sorry. But Nai, why were you making comments about the Pokemon trailer? You didn't even watch it.
Wait, did I make comments on the trailer?
You made it. Well, maybe not comments on the trailer, but you were saying, if this game wasn't like good and that was it for you.
I can say that without watching the trailer.
Oh, wow.
Very true.
To make that comment,
Very true.
So for those of you who did watch the trailer, what are your thoughts? How are you feeling?
I am skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
Optimistic, but skeptical.
Really?
To be blunt, because it's like we were talking, I think, in the Pokemon episode about how we just knew that Scarlet and Violet were going to be, I guess, the finished product of Legend of Arceus, or at least, Legend of Arceus was like the engine that they were testing with and whatnot. And then the trailer that came out, it just felt like Legend of Arceus 2 a little. But I suppose they're just withholding like the towns and stuff like that. But I did like the stuff they did reveal. I did like Lechonk and
There.
freaking Lechonk
Lechonk.
and
There.
I guess 4 players can like travel together. Like that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, that was a good little feature I saw.
Yeah. Like
It'd be
that
better
stuff
if you
I
didn't
like.
have to pay extra for the internet.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff I like. But like I said, I'm just concerned that the worlds might be empty. but that's just me.
Yeah, that's kind of my little fear too, because it's like I like you said, I was really interested in like that multiplayer feature, like for all four of your friends can travel around in the same place, which is dope. But yeah, I'm a little bit worried that it might be dead like Legends Arceus. Plus, it's just the fact that like they're using the same game engine, but they said it's the refined version, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm mostly just afraid that the world's gonna be a little bit dead, and it's just gonna have like the sprites of the Pokemon kind of running around, and I'm like, it's all right, I guess.
I mean, I don't want to be a negative Nancy. I did like it. Like I did like what I saw. I'm just a bit skeptical. That's it.
I being negative. Oh, so I finally watched it. So there. And
Wait,
You just
what?
watched
just,
it? Wow.
Just now?
yes.
No.
As we
How?
were talking, I could
How?
do it.
Wow.
Wow. Well, how did you feel about it?
Honestly, nothing much. Honestly, like
Oh,
watching
you know
the trailer.
what?
I will say this though, I do like the character designs. I look forward to character customization with this one.
Just about to say that too.
Absolutely.
I agree. Looking at the trailer, the worlds look like the fields look just about empty. Honestly, just the same. Like I didn't really gain too much from this trailer, honestly. So I don't know why you were so angry that I didn't watch it.
Now, presentation is definitely the strongest in this trailer, but I also like Arceus too. They nailed the look, but I agree about the skepticism with the game design. I don't know if the new features are going to be what will grab me, but at least the character designs look dope.
Character
Yeah.
designs. I look forward to
Yes,
character
me too.
customizations.
Those professors, good lord.
Absolutely.
Oh, I mean, the other one.
They had no reason to make those professors look as good as they did.
They had about 34 reasons to make the professors look the way they do.
Right?
There's always that one character
I'll
who's
look at that
way
post.
too good in a Pokemon game.
I'm also hoping that the story factors in a little bit more this time, because if you look at the professors, the caveman look versus the technology look, I really hope they do something with those themes.
They're good.
I feel like the story, it's not going to be anything. Cause like, didn't they say like this is going to be supposedly the first like real true open world Pokemon game where there's no real like linear path? It's just kind of you can go anywhere you want.
Now,
I think it
I would love
you
to-
can go your
I would love
own
to take a minute on that.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Because, like, I appreciate that Arceus was a much needed kind of step away from the normal formula, but I'm really starting to miss being able to just walk through grass and not knowing what I'm going to get. Or, like, having just a vague idea of what I'm going to get. Like, knowing what patch of grass is most likely to have certain things. I think that just kind of being able to look out over the expanse and see exactly where everything is, I don't know. There's just something about that I feel like is starting to take away for me.
Do you want the Pokemon to sneak up on you? Maybe like you're in a patch of grass trying to sneak on a Pikachu or something, and then Charizard just flies down and attacks you. Like,
I'm not really asking to get mollywopped. I'm just asking for a little mission. Like, I would like to walk into the patch of grass with the active goal of finding a Pokemon, but not necessarily knowing immediately what Pokemon it's going to be until I enter battle.
I agree, because
I
that's
agree.
part of the
Yeah.
charm back in the day, right? Like you would walk, and then it's like, hey, am I going to get a Pikachu, a Pidgeotto, or something like that? And oh, what do you know? It's freaking Latios or something, you know? That was one of the appeals of back in the day, So just knowing what you're gonna get kind of takes that away.
Especially with a shiny. Like,
Imagine if you see a shiny just like walking around, you're like,
if you lose a shiny that you could see from a mile away,
that's your own
that
fault.
would be worse.
It was your fault.
Yeah, it feels completely and utterly your fault. Like, at least when you can't see it coming and you're surprised, you're like, oh man, you panic a little, and
And
then
because you're like, do I have a Master Ball? Do I have like do I have a Great
Yeah.
Ball? Anything? Like,
But how do you guys feel about the legendaries?
I don't like the design. I don't like the design. I'm gonna say that right now.
No, definitely not. No. Mm-mm.
No?
I don't
Yeah.
like
Really?
the design. I don't like the design.
They look like Beyblade. Those little gears.
is that a problem?
Yeah.
I'll say
I-
this. If
I
they
like-
can't transform into a vehicle mode, I don't care.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I look at it, they look like bikes. I'm like, they might transform
Yeah.
into like.
Listen, pass that Scarlet bike over here. I am down. I am
Yeah.
absolutely
What?
down.
Right? Scarlet looks
I
good.
like the
Wait.
Violet design more, but honestly, I don't even like that. Like, if I had to pick one, if you held a gun to me, I would say Violet's a little bit better. But like, they're both just they look like
I like the
toys.
attention
Like,
They
to
look
detail.
like that. You know what? Nye, that is a perfect way to put it. They look fun. They look like toys. They
They
look
look marketable.
not the fun kind of toy.
They look
Not the fun
marketable.
kind of toy.
What?
Yes, marketing got in here heavy. This was
We will make them into toys. Yes.
marketing
That's-
said
Yeah.
this one spins, that one glows. There you go, kids.
Before
I
we
mean, I
get
like the
too far
attention to
though,
detail.
there is
Yeah,
one
go on.
thing that I want to mention, because you guys mentioned how this Pokemon game is supposed to be a lot more open world. I don't think I want that, honestly. Like, I'm fine with Pokemon getting a little bit more open world and not like one gym to the next gym, because that was getting repetitive and boring. But I'm not too sure how I feel about it being completely open world or like mostly open world. I would like some form of a story that like I can
A
go
plot.
through. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
want to
hope
hope that they still have like that story that we're able to follow. I think what they were trying to communicate was you're not like restricted to it, right? Like you have to go to this place to progress the story, but you can travel like 2 towns down or whatever, or 3 routes down or something like that, or heck, go across the region and do your thing. But if you want to progress the story, you're gonna have to go back to that area.
I'll
I
take
could
open
live with
world
that.
over the open zones of Sword and Shield, honestly.
Oh, I'd take anything over Sword and Shield's open areas.
What?
It was a good thought. It was a good thought.
But out of curiosity,
Farzad on steroids.
who's getting the game? And if yes, like which one are you getting?
Violet.
Yes, and
Scarlet.
Violet.
Scarlet.
I'm
Violet.
in between. With
Whoever
the-
has a caveman professor, I'm taking that.
I think that's Scarlet.
I think Scarlet.
Scarlet.
Wait.
honestly.
Scarlet has Caveman Professor or the Violet?
Scarlet.
Okay.
Violet's the handsome dude, and
Handsome dude, Violet.
Yes, we're buying both.
Mm.
I was gonna simp for the professor and Scarlet, but I was like, I like future aesthetic. I'm sorry.
Yeah, man. It's clean. Gotta be Violet.
So Scarlet's the future aesthetic, and then
Other way.
no, Violet's
Other
the
way.
future. It's got-
other way. Okay.
No.
Yeah. All right. Well, next up, we probably won't talk too much about it, but Sonic Frontiers. We finally got some more gameplay about that, and
Yeesh.
Jesus Christ, like everyone was just dogging that on Twitter and everywhere. I'm like, me personally, like I looked at it and I honestly say like it, like looking at it multiple times, I can see what they mean. Like it is a little bit rough, and it definitely like it's supposed to be releasing this year, and it better not release this year. It definitely needs
this
more
year?
time in the oven. Yeah, it was like slated for holiday 2022, I believe.
What?
Yeah, I think it was in the original trailer, unless they took it offline. Or like, oh, shit, we can't have this up here. But no, like I looked at it, I was like, yeah, because like I understood the this is looking at the gameplay, it was like I see what they're going with, but it's still rough. Like the combat looks decent, but like they need to refine that. I'm just saying. Like the homing attack was all over the place, and the camera looked a little bit weird. But I did like the running segments. I feel like people were a little bit too hard on the game, but then again, with Sega's track record with like 3D Sonic games lately, I don't blame them.
High Top, I gotta say,
Mm.
let's be real. The reason the people are just so hard on Sega about these games is because nobody is asking for these games. Time and time again, we say Sega, all we want.
Come on.
Like we literally go to Sega on bended knee and we say, Sega, could you maybe do something with the Chow? Could I just have a little Chow? And they're like,
I mean, but Chow Gordon.
yeah, that's all we want.
If they made a game that was basically just Chow Gordon, like
Just
I would
give it-
jump on
even
it.
if,
Give me,
even
like,
if it was a MOBA, even if
oh my
it
god!
was like,
Honestly, it'll be a good game on the mobile. Honestly, like
Ima-
that actually work on
Can
the
you
mobile.
imagine
Oh,
how
yeah.
much money a Farmville but with Chow would bring in? Like
Oh my
Oh my
god.
god!
staggering amounts of money. But Sega takes one look at that and they're like, you don't want that.
On Breath of the
want
Wild.
it. You want it? I will pay
You
you.
want
I would
Breath of the
definitely pay for
Wild,
that.
but in alpha. Perpetual alpha. That's what it is.
A strong alpha.
Okay, this isn't a want, but if they wanted to, they could even make it a gotcha kind of game, honestly, and it would still
Hey,
work.
Don't speak
It
that
would
into
still
existence.
work.
Hey, back up.
Still
Roll
work.
that back.
It's not what I want. It's not what I
Don't
want.
say that too loud. They will hear
True,
you.
true. But I totally understand where Nye's coming from. It's like, we want a specific thing, but you just slap us in the face and you give us this. I mean, going back to the Sonic trailer gameplayness, like, I'll be real with you guys, I'm not that diehard of a Sonic fan, but looking at the trailer and stuff, I'm like, this looks very bland.
Mm.
Like, not
Yeah.
colorful, not fun, not. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, running super fast is fun, but Sonic's about, this sort of crazy, cool aesthetic, it's fun. And I wasn't getting that from that trailer.
Me,
Yeah,
but like I'm looking at this, I'm looking at all the comments, and so like for one thing, I agree with him with the color because I think about Sonic Unleashes, like day stages were super fun, and Sonic Generations. I get the color aspect, but I feel like hopefully they don't come out with it this year. This is just these guys should have really put a freaking disclaimer on there saying that this does not represent the final product, then people would not have been like saying as much. They should have put that. But like I feel like I feel like it could possibly be different from what we saw, because like everybody was saying that it was a tech demo, and I'm like, yeah, it is a tech demo. They really just put Sonic in the completed world that they had, and they threw enemies in there just to show people like, hey, we are working on something, we got something, so maybe the final product will look more alive than what we got in those trailers.
I hope so. Honestly, the best thing about modern Sonic is when you do get that speed feel but the problem with modern Sonic at the same time is that a lot of times if you play the recent games, you feel like you're on rail. Like, it's all about your reaction time, and yes, you get the speed, but there's less control now. And I don't know if there's a healthy balance you can find, but basically with this trailer, all I'm trying to say is Sonic looks really freaking slow. I don't feel the speed. I didn't feel the coolness.
Yeah.
And even when they went into the combat, it felt so janky and slow that I kind of hope they just cut it out.
Damn,
I would
okay.
also say, I think you mentioned it before, High Top, but the camera, I feel it's a little bit too far away. Like,
No,
I know
it
that
is.
sounds like
Yeah.
I know that sounds like a weird comment, but
No,
feel
I
like it's
agree.
too far
No,
away.
no,
Like,
no.
No, I agree with you. Like there were a lot of moments where that camera was just really zoomed out. I was like, does it really
I
need to be
noticed
zoomed
that.
out like that?
With certain attacks, it zooms out even more, and it's like we're already pretty far from Sonic. Like, are you ashamed? Like
Like, what are y'all trying to hide?
Don't look at us. Don't look at him.
I don't know, man.
Thanks, guys. What's
All I gotta hope for is that this game does not come out this year. It
Right.
better not come out this year. If it does, man, like, at least we got the movies and that other like little remaster of Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles.
It's true.
Yeah,
I do
honestly-
think that
Sonic CD.
I do think Sonic does need a shakeup now after the horrible mess that was Sonic Forces.
We don't talk about that.
I know. I'm just saying, like, he probably needs something. I don't know if this is it, but I do like the direction of the open world if they keep the speed. And maybe throw in some cities. I don't know. That world looks kind of dead.
Throw in
I
the
wouldn't
chow.
mind some city,
Throw in the
honestly.
chow.
I
Give
might-
us the
Like-
chow.
Dude,
Like,
give-
The
Real-
Chow Garden would be nice.
Okay,
Like,
real
real-
talk,
mhm.
guys. Like, I'm not a huge Sonic fan. The only Sonic game that I like truly loved and would die for, honestly, is Sonic Adventure 2. Like,
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Like-
yes.
Like
I
I
know all
played
the
that.
Sonic. I know all the Sonic fans are gonna kill me for the fact that I don't love the 2D ones, but like Sonic Adventure 2 was where my love for Sonic came from. And
Same.
since then,
same.
like I played a few more Sonic games, never finished any of them, honestly.
Like real spit, Sonic Adventure 2 for me, I'm about to go on a little tangent, but just real quick, Sonic Adventure 2, like I love the story for it, just because Shadow is an interesting character, and just that whole Space Colony arc thing was really dope. I love the
Dark
stage.
side.
What, say it again?
The hero
Dark
side and the
Side.
dark side.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
having those two separate stories and then like, you know, having the final story, they all kind of work together was really dope. And I played it recently. The controls don't hold up nowadays, but still back in the day, I really had a good time with it. Like it was a whole other thing. Like it felt like I was fast and it felt like, you know, I enjoyed the treasure hunting. I enjoyed Tails and Eggman's weird
Tails was
stages.
not nearly as Tails was the I just want to get through this stage usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all he was. But like, you know, honestly, like I'm surprised that with all these remasters coming out or all these remakes, they not
means Sonic
touching
Adventure
these
2
old
remastered.
games. Yeah, like why not? Like why not remaster one of your best games?
Like
I don't
honestly,
know.
if they remaster Sonic Adventure 1 and then Sonic Adventure 2, I would honestly buy because like Sonic Adventure 2 really it still is in my top 10 favorite games. Honestly, probably no, I want to say top 5, but easily in my top 10. Like I love Child Garden so much. Honestly, it was amazing. Like it's one of the first games that I completely 100%. Like I made it a point to 100%. That's how much love I had for it. And I haven't had that since. Like I play Sonic games. I used to play a couple of Sonic games and then never finished either of them. And then I eventually just stopped. I think after Unleashed, I just never played a Sonic game again. So
But you're not a big Sonic fan, you guys. Remember that.
I'm not. I'm not.
No, I'm with you on
Together.
that one too.
Get it together.
All right, well, moving on to the final piece of news, the State of Play that came out recently. And let me just say, I love that State of Play so much. It surprised me. Like I put my clown makeup on that day. I was like, yeah, it's gonna be
The clown
fun.
shoes,
This
the
is
nose,
great. We got to get
wig,
all the games we
brownie.
want, and I wiped that makeup off. Like, damn, we got more than what we wanted. Like, geez, like
Really.
I guess kind of like going. I think I remember from the top of my head, but going down the list. First off, we had a reveal of Resident Evil 4. I'm not gonna call it remake, but Resident Evil 4. Did anybody play Resident Evil 4 here?
did. That was the one with the president's daughter, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You had the whole escort mission thing going
Yeah,
on.
I did. I
Like,
liked it. One of my favorites, honestly.
Yeah, it looks good. I mean, like it's the RE engine's like the best thing they've ever done with like that series, and I'm looking forward to it. But then you went through a whole bunch of VR stuff, and I like the fact that going through it, like they really kind of just okay VR for like 2 to 3 minutes, and then that was it.
Weren't here for it.
Right.
They knew that like we're gonna mention VR, but we know that if we stay too long, you guys are gonna get angry. So like we'll give it just enough shine so you guys will realize that there's games for this,
Right.
and then we're gonna move on.
We
Like
spent money on this, guys. We have to show it. All right.
But
they
then
played it
like
well.
they really did, and I like, and then they revealed first they revealed Street Fighter 6. I'm not a big Street Fighter fan in terms of fighting games, but it did look good, stylish. They went back with the hip hop theme that they had from back in the day, and that looked really dope.
Not a fighting game fan, but I'm not gonna lie, the music for that trailer was really good. Like
Mhm.
Yeah, it was really good. Really
And
well put
everyone-
together.
But everyone was talking about Chun-Li's cheeks and how she had
As they
physics
should.
to them.
As they should.
Ah!
As they should. They know what they're doing.
Yes.
Indeed.
But then after that, we got a really cool game called Ether Knights.
Yeah,
Ether Knights?
Ethernites.
That was, and the funny thing is, the director was like, he's a big Persona fan.
Yeah, no.
And
Could you see it?
Can you tell?
yeah, and like he tweeted out was like, I played Persona 5, then 4, then 3, and I was like, I'm gonna make my own.
And that's where he stopped?
Yeah, that's when he was like, fuck, I'm gonna become a game designer and make
Was
my
that
own
he
game. He
stopped
made
at 3?
Ethernight.
But he
Is
stopped
that
at Persona
three?
3?
I think it's, well, I mean, like, I didn't read too much into it, but I, like, from what I heard, he played up to, like, 3. Probably played more of them. But maybe, you know, it's one of those things, it wasn't as available. Who knows?
Somebody in the comments Google that, and if he's only played up to 3, go make him go
He's
back.
doing himself a disservice. He needs to
Right.
play the
Yeah.
others.
You're not real if you didn't play that first and second one. I said what I said.
Play the first and second one. I will eventually. I plan to eventually.
But, it looked really
Third
dope.
one.
But it looked really dope, and I'm looking forward to it. A dating action game. I can't wait.
Yeah, it was like dating sim
Bro.
across.
I already know which girl I
it
want.
looks nice. Yeah.
Oh,
And then what else came out that was pretty
Stray.
interesting?
Stray is the only game
Right.
that I have been strapped to my seat waiting for. All those trailers have looked so good. All the gameplay has looked so good. This game is gonna be so good.
Oh, I've been waiting for.
Now I'm like, I
That's
looked
gonna
at
be so
Stray and it
cute.
looked good though. It did look
It
good,
looks
but I'm not
really
as
good.
It was
interested.
really fun.
The most,
honestly.
like, I'll neutrally agree with you. Like,
You said what?
so,
That game looked clean. I won't.
It does. It looks very clean. I hope I won't be. Oh my god.
And isn't it free with a certain subscription? So
Yeah, with their
Yeah.
new subscription they're
Mhm.
coming out with, like you could get it for free. Well, play it for free with this subscription.
right. Interesting.
And then what else
what's the
came out?
subscription thing called again?
They have like 3. It's like PlayStation Plus Deluxe. I don't know. I gotta look at the names again.
Get it together, Sony. Get it together.
They're basic. It's like Xbox Game Pass rolls off the tongue, and Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. They got like some weird names or whatever.
You're
some
not
basic
wrong,
names.
but I'm a Sony fangirl, so I'll just be silent.
No, but also, well, not to go off a big tangent, but I learned that, and I think Japan, Nigh for You, they actually, with the subscription, you can play all of the Trials of Cold Steel games.
Trails.
Okay, sorry. Trails of Cold Steel games. I knew I got it wrong. I was hope I got it right, but nope.
You get it wrong
you could play all the
every time. Like,
I know, but you could play all the games if you have one of the higher subscriptions. So, I don't know if it's going to be in America, in the US, but I don't know.
even
you
if it
wanna look
was,
into
people would not play it.
It won't. It won't.
Yikes.
I
don't
love
know.
it. I love it, but I know that people will not play it. Like,
But all right, moving on. Honestly, like any other games besides the last one that I feel like we're all pretty much
just
were
get
like
to it.
Epic.
Just get to your Final Fantasy.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 16 was like probably the best.
sir.
Epic as hell, yo. Like when Yoshi P came up on the screen, I was like, it's ya boy. I already know what's about to go down. It's ya boy. He's about to drop that trailer. He sure enough gave us a 3-minute long trailer with dope graphics. Like they're probably gonna clean it up. Well, in the interview or whatever, they said it's pretty much done. But of course, Yoshi P wants to make sure that it's polished and as good as it possibly can. I love that. It's a shame that it's a whole year we have to wait for this thing. I thought it'd be like in spring.
I'm good. I'm ready.
It would have taken a year.
Yeah, I'm glad. Like if you got to take a year, go ahead, take your time. Because he brought back Final Fantasy 14 from the brink. He's heading this. I trust him.
Yeah, and the staff that they revealed that are working on it, man, like freaking Soken's doing the music. He did like the trailer music, and he's obviously doing the music for the rest of the game. And his work in Final Fantasy 14 has been phenomenal. So when they dropped that he's working on 16, everyone lost it, man. Every 14 fan lost it. So this is gonna be a treat. I can't wait.
But I will say this though, like a lot of people pointed it out that there might not be no party members for this game. It might be just a single player. Well, maybe not single player. It might have something to do with the summons, because like in the trailer, it showed like the summons, you could use their abilities or whatnot. So maybe it'd be a little bit like that. But I'll admit it would be a little bit sad that we won't have that whole, a bunch of guys going on an adventure, save the world, and they're
Boy
going
band?
through.
Right.
No,
Not boy band. Come on.
But I'm a bleep. I have to
boy
bleep a lot of
band.
stuff.
I like the boy band.
Okay.
But nah, man, like I feel like the party part, like a lot of people were talking about like, Final Fantasy lost its identity because it no longer has that party system to it. But we don't even know too much yet. It might be a party system in there.
You don't have to be like tied down to like something. You can involve and change, and I think it's good that they're trying to do that. It's not like, yeah, you're gonna fumble a little bit, like maybe it's not gonna be a good change, but I do encourage them to try. Like what I've seen so far, yeah, it's not what I expect from Final Fantasy usually, but like it doesn't look bad at all, honestly. Like
Definitely.
Like a Devil May Cry cross Final Fantasy, give me it, yo. I'm here for it.
I agree. Like if they don't have like a party system, like if I can't get party members, that would be kind of depressing, because that's kind of the charm of like RPGs, honestly. Like getting a new character each city or something. But If it's a case where it's like I'm gonna get a new summon for each city instead, and I'll interact with new people, I'm not against that either, honestly. So long as my main character is interesting, like he has to hold up, because if you are the only person I'm sticking with this entire game, if I don't vibe with you, I don't know if I'm gonna make it, honestly.
If you're another Alphan, yo, that'd be a shame.
Don't be boring, please.
Don't be a boring, like plain. Don't be plain white bread.
I ain't mad you just called out Alpha and like
Alphan was plain as. We can all agree with that shit.
Come on, man. Come on.
Ain't nothing special about that dude besides the freaking mask. That's about it.
he can't feel pain.
Who gives a shit? But anyway, I'm sorry. I'm cursing on this podcast. I apologize. I'm just going
say
off.
We're gonna get a real good use out of that censor.
I know. Okay, let me see if I could calm down. But yep. But all right. Anything else that's happened that you guys want to talk about?
Ibiki Euphemia is getting a season 3, and I look forward to it.
And a what?
I kind of figured you.
What?
No, say the name again. Say the name again.
The defeat in your voice.
Kind of figured, because I feel like not too many people watch that show. So.
Nah, like explain. Like what is
Wait,
it about?
which show is this?
Ibiki.
Hey, Vicky.
Ah,
What is it?
Music
So-
one, Kyoto Animation.
Huh? Wait.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, no.
Just
I'll like when I'm looking for scenes, I'll find it. I'm like, oh, that anime.
no, it's fine. You could just leave a
We're
blank
happy for
screen.
you.
Oh wait, is it the
Happy
one
for
with
you.
the chick with the white hair? That one?
Oh God.
Well,
I tried to
man.
Google it, and Google
Me
giving
too.
me whiskey.
Oh, God, you can't be serious.
No, I'm very
You
serious.
trying to hurt me? Like,
No, wait.
Ooh.
Which one?
Are
Is
you
Hi-
okay?
Wait, is Hibiki the one with the girl that works out? That one?
oh my God.
No, not from
No,
Dumbo.
no.
I-
We'll find it later
I
on.
love the
in
workout one.
thing.
Oh my god.
But
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
I guess. Be anything else? Anybody else are watching any shows? Or I'm sorry, I'm not skipping over Nye, yo. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can't. It's too late. It's too late.
Anything else?
I started another isekai this week.
Oh.
What is it?
The Skeleton Knight.
Oh, the white skeleton.
What is that? I heard it's so good.
It is so damn fun, yo.
Difference, man. The difference.
So damn fun. I'm loving it. Very it's nothing new, really. It's just, I don't know, there's just something refreshing, I think, about the main character. He's not angsty, he's not weird, he's not
Sarcastic.
awkward.
He's just trying to live a normal life as an adventurer.
Yeah, he's just a nice guy. He's a good guy.
It's pizza flavored Overlord.
Oh my God.
Honestly, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Basically.
It's pizza
That sounds
flavored.
delicious.
Overlord. It is. It's delicious.
It
It's
sounds
fun,
delicious.
and it's not meant to be taken too seriously.
Absolutely.
It's pizza flavored Overlord.
Don't get me wrong, the villains in it are kind of, villainous.
Yeah, they're kind of
Yeah.
like almost cartoonishly. Like you really out here being evil for no reason.
For real. Like, even, like, some episodes will tell you, hey, we understand the subject matter might be a little intense, and we're sorry about that. But we're promised, like, it's gonna be fun. Don't worry, it'll be fun. They'll get their just desserts, Don't worry about it.
You know it's a good show.
Goblin
when
Slayer.
Twitter
What
tells
is
you-
in that show? Like,
Well, you know it's a good show when Twitter tells you that you should look past the 2-second Goblin Slayer they pull in the first episode.
Yep.
The first
Yeah.
2 minutes of
Goblin Slayer, and I love that for us. I
Yeah.
truly do.
it's funny because when I started it, I was like, or you know what? Let's just start this. I was watching it with my brother, right? And as soon
work lately, and I appreciate that. Either as like voice actors or like doing the cover for, not the cover, but the official opening for a show. It's really nice, honestly.
that's cool.
Also, I'm gonna try one more time. You guys might know it by sound you from
Oh, God.
him.
Oh no.
Oh god. Oh
Oh,
god.
I heard
No,
the sound
okay,
of euphorium.
I figured I'd try one more time. It's okay.
No, it's fine.
Wait, what is it about? Well,
Well, I didn't hear what the show was called. What's it called?
Ibiki?
Sound euphonia.
Wait, what?
All right. If anything,
thing.
like
Oh, okay.
I'll
Yeah,
put
I've
it.
seen this before.
I dropped
Yeah.
the picture in the chat in my
I've seen
help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right,
okay.
and I'll put
Alright.
and I'll put the
Yeah.
trailer up here when we're talking about it, and people will like
Had a
see
blank
it.
screen for how memorable it was apparently.
Put grasshopper roofs.
Oh,
on it.
that's
Oh no, I vaguely remember this.
Let me
really.
see.
Yes.
I've seen it around.
Oh,
Oh,
wait.
no,
So is
I-
it? Oh, is Hibiki like the Japanese name of it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I feel so bad. I definitely
sorry.
don't want to buy Hibiki. I know it is sound euphonium.
Okay, so why did you say Sunny Phone? You know what?
See, no, like
I know about a Japanese name more, but then I thought about it and I'm like, maybe they know it by the English name more. Like,
yeah, because it's like Shigeki no Kyoji, and it's like, you know, a lot of people call it Attack on Titan. It's like, what the fuck's Shigeki? You know, some people know it, some people don't.
I straight thought you were butchering Shokugeki no Soma, and I had to.
No, you're about to call me out.
I was
No,
about to like shred everybody here.
I'm not gonna lie though. I only know the series by Shokugeki no Soma. I just want to tussle anytime somebody's like, "Yeah, have you watched Food Wars?" I'm like, don't do that. It's a great pun. It deserves to be preserved. Don't do that.
well, all right. So that ends the mini news for tonight. So now we're gonna move on to the main topic, which is again, how has anime changed over the years for each of us, pretty much. So, anybody want to take the floor? Want to start off?
Nose
That
go.
silence, though.
Okay. Well, I'll
Why don't you
Ah,
start,
well,
Piper? You are the
yeah,
leader
go
after
ahead,
all.
go ahead,
Yeah,
Hype
for
Dog.
real.
I mean, you're the leader.
I was
Why
trying to
you
get
are-
everyone.
Take it away.
I'm putting everyone on the
Go for
spot, and
him.
nobody wants to jump in.
I
All
got
right.
Like, how dare you put us on the spot? You're like, you're the
I
leader.
know.
You're
I was like,
leader.
So, all right. So, when it comes to anime and over the years, for me, like, honestly, like, in terms of, like, how it's kind of, like, changed for me, I've been in and out with anime for over the years. Like, high school was really where I really hopped on an anime train. I really started watching, like, I found the websites, I looked at different series, even started reading manga, but, like, my history with it was kind of on and off because I didn't have cable like that when I was a kid in middle school.
same here.
It was always on and off. It was either analog or cable. And when I had cable, I saw Adult Swim and I saw Toonami. And I knew about Dragon Ball Z and Yasha, all the classics. But like for me, like, you know, like just the access, like for me, like over the years, being able to access a lot of this anime has been great. You know, not even just the fact that I have an internet connection. Like now it's like, you know, it's everywhere pretty much. You know, it's like you go on YouTube and it's like there's this like anime everywhere. And plus, is now with the whole stream, like the last podcast we had, like there's a lot of stuff from streaming services now, and like Crunchyroll's big. It's become real big over the years, and like you know, it's really great that now it's accessible. I don't have to worry about getting cable anymore.
Me next. You got it.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my goodness.
Go on, T.
Okay. My bad. I'm just real excited to get it. All right, let me weave you in
Early.
a little T back in the early 90s.
Here we go.
Oh.
Gee.
Ooh, little T.
So, back in the day, when I was about 7 years old, I didn't know anything about anime. I doubt any of us.
I'm a little concerned.
Don't be concerned. This is getting good. All right.
I said.
So,
Mm.
back then, when I was young and anime was coming over to the West, it wasn't as mainstream as it is today. There were no streaming. There weren't even really deep VHS stuff and a bunch of OVAs. So I was first exposed to anime when I was 7 years old, just traipsing around sci-fi. And late night, they were showing a run of not only Akira, but something called Angel Cop. And
Oh.
I'm sorry. What?
yeah, on Sci-Fi, when Sci-Fi was
Yeah, they did.
that
Mhm.
channel, back when it's trying to be like MTV, late night,
Yeah,
it had
and they had,
anime runs.
Yeah.
they had
Yeah.
Serial Experiments Lane 2 was on a sci-fi.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Serial Experiments
yeah.
was on it too. So when I was young and I saw like
I'm sorry. Did you watch Serial Experiments Lane when you were 7?
No, I did not. That came
I
later.
did.
But Angel Cop and Akira was enough for me. But my point is, when I first saw anime, it wasn't something that was not only mainstream, it was something that scared you.
Yep.
Like freaking terrifying. Like if you watch Akira, y'all know Akira.
Yes, sir.
Yo,
You were 7 though?
yeah. Well, I'm
7?
saying, like, back in the day, anime wasn't like my boys say, it wasn't mainstream. There wasn't streaming like that. They made anime for mature adults and stuff like that exclusively, it felt like.
Right.
And
Yeah, true.
back when I was a kid, when I saw anime, I wore it like a badge of honor. Like, you guys are still watching Eat the Cat? I saw Akira last night. What y'all know about that?
Like,
Oh,
so
you,
like,
oh,
the
you had
test of
the
courage
top.
for you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was like a test of courage back when I was young watching anime. And
Oh.
there was all kinds of stuff like that back then. And later, of course, I found out about Dragon Ball Z and all that type of stuff, but it wasn't like that back then. Anime was like something that was made to scare kids to me. At least I believed that for the longest time. So
You
nowadays,
were watching some
I
dark
can't-
shows as a kid. That's crazy.
I can't. Ooh, I could say yes, but then I. I can't get my words out.
Charlie, we know you watch fucked up shit. Like,
Well,
go
Yeah,
ahead.
no. It's just
Go
that.
ahead.
Well,
I'm
hold on.
sorry.
No, Charlie, it's okay. Take your time, gather your thoughts, and I wish you and T a very merry seek therapy. Seek therapy.
No. I can't say.
I don't know, because if
Yo.
you're telling me, so similarly to T, back in the day, anime was really not that accessible in my house. I'm sorry to the brokies on chat, but we had cable. But even having cable didn't really. Sorry.
Damn, fun. All right. Carry on.
Damn.
Able to.
Carry
Having
on.
Damn. Tell us.
Owie.
Episode sponsored by Aoi. Okay.
Wow.
Having cable didn't guarantee you, though. It didn't guarantee you the kind of access to age-appropriate anime. So I will agree. There were some times when you'd be catching whatever on the Sci-Fi Channel. But I do remember when I was a kid running to Blockbuster and Hollywood Video and all these other places to get blank VHSs for like 20 to 30 bucks a pack for like 6. And I would be staying up until 2 a.m. just so I could record DN Angel and DNA Squared on VHS. And I tell you, Tiny Me could work a VCR and get these things recorded, and it was like a gauntlet, just trying to get these things saved and just hoarding them and watching them over and over again. It almost felt like the actual experience of gathering anime was kind of part of it, like finding your way to it and kind of finding ways to collect it. It's kind of like a retro Pokemon Go to me. You'd find these shows and you'd compare them with your friends, and you'd go to school and you'd be like, I found this one anime and it's about ba-da-da-da, and that's kind of how you found out about these things. Word of mouth, or you'd go to your local video rental store and just kind of stumble across whatever they happened to have. Sometimes they had a lot of good friendly shoujo. Like I remember picking up every single scrap of Sailor Moon I could from the Hollywood Video whenever I went to rent N64 games. But I also remember seeing Akira and seeing like other shows that were not quite age appropriate. And I think that it's really interesting that T kind of highlighted anime as a test of courage for him. Because I think on some level, as we kind of got to high school, that's really what it became for my generation specifically. Like, we had all the edgy stuff. We had the Wolf's Rain.
Yes.
We had
that.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
Robins.
Oh my god.
We had all the edgy, all the
I haven't
truly
watched
edgy,
it.
crying in the rain stuff.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really what you think of when you think like, oh, this is anime but for slightly older kids. Like all of our stuff. I was watching Ava in high school. Like,
Oh my god.
Damn.
No.
No,
You
you're right.
realize that like most of it was dark though.
it was
It was
very
really dark.
it was very deep. It was deep.
Yeah.
It was mature. It was really meant to make you think. And I think just it really was a generational thing. At a time when we were seeking deeper meaning, all we wanted to do as a generation was be all we wanted to do as a generation
I'd say
was
middle
be
school, high school. Yeah.
yeah.
we all had that moment.
But we all
That's good
we all
photo.
really had that
Damn.
moment when you wanted to be older. You wanted to be an adult right now. And here was anime ready to take you seriously and be like, "You want to see some blood, kid? You want to see some
Yeah.
gore?"
Yeah. Yeah, I'll admit though, it's like really it really was like I think Toonami had like a mature anime at the time too. I think it came out like Dragon Ball Z wasn't it wasn't mature because of the whole blood and stuff.
Say
And
what you
people getting
listen.
nervous.
No, you should say
Dragon Ball-
Dragon Ball too.
Dragon Ball had
Oh
blood.
yeah,
was
oh
very
yeah.
gory.
Ball is pretty.
It had blood, it had boobies, it had everything. Dragon
Had
Ball was a
penis.
really cool show.
Yeah, hind's
Oh,
out,
shit.
right? I think Toonami was the bridge between the old take you seriously anime and the ultra violent stuff to the fun type of stuff as well. It ushered in a change that made it a lot more mainstream. I think Toonami was the start of it.
Yeah, because it's like when you think about it, like we remember like how we had the Saturday morning cartoons, you know,
Yeah.
and like of course they had anime on there, but for some reason my child brain was like, America made this. Like no, America didn't make this. Like, they didn't make Yu-Gi-Oh, they didn't make Pokemon,
right.
but like looking at those shows, they were really like childish, and I feel like you said, like how like anime kind of took us more serious, you know, introduced us to all these gory and mature themes. It felt like, you know, we were getting tired of those Saturday morning cartoons and how childish it was, and then we got introduced to the Bleach and to the Dragon Ball Z and, you know, Serial's Lane, and it was like, damn, like okay, I can rock with this. This is mine. This is where I belong now.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
graduated from the kid shows.
I'm an adult
I
now.
was so out of place now because like I wasn't watching that many dark shows back then. I feel like maybe it's because I had Funimation as a channel, and Funimation for the most part had a lot of romances like Peach Girl and whatnot. But
Oh,
Peach Girl.
jeez.
Peach Girl was an excellent example of violence among women.
But
Yeah.
but the thing about like these anime, like back in the day, like we didn't know that it was like mature, you know? Like for Bleach, like, you know, it was mature the moment you saw like bloods and, you know, blood, a whole bunch of blood and like ghosts and shit. But like you didn't really know for sure if a show was gonna be mature because it was like it seemed like, you know, we all thought, oh, it's a cartoon. You know,
Right.
this is a cartoon, but then the moment we got into the nitty gritty, it was like, oh, this ain't no cartoon that we're used to.
Exactly.
You know?
Like I didn't. I'm not gonna get into my story yet, but did anyone
why?
else?
Why?
I mean,
Why is
fine,
it a
I'll
secret?
start out. It's not a secret.
It's a
I was going to
secret.
say, like, you mentioned like Dragon Ball and all this sort of stuff. Did anyone else sort of watch Princess Mononoke like at a really
Yes.
young age?
Oh
Wait,
yeah.
no. Wait, no. Princess. Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah, like
I don't know. I
because
thought jellyfish.
no,
Oh no,
I
that's
thought
the other
Princess
one. That's
Jellyfish.
the other
I'm
one.
like, wait.
I did see Spirited Away at a young age, but Princess Mononoke came later in my thing.
Same.
What was the other one? Oh my
Ponyo?
god. No, not Ponyo. No, the one with the witch flying. Oh my goodness.
Kiki's Delivery
Oh,
Service.
Kiki's
yeah.
Delivery Service?
Oh my god,
Kiki's
that was
Deli-
one of my
yes.
early ones. That was like
Me
one of the first
too,
ones I
and
saw. I
I
loved
never-
it.
I loved it so much that I connected with it like on an emotional level as a kid. That I'm like, okay, one day I'm gonna become that. Like, I don't know how.
Look, I'm glad you kind of share that because like my journey through anime kind of started more innocent, you know, like the Pokemon, Digimons, Mega Mans, all that sort of stuff,
To you? What happened to you?
right?
What changed you?
But what changed me really, to be honest, was the Spirited Away, Kiki's Delivery Service, Princess
Mhm.
Mononoke stuff, because I think that was the time where I'd say I was like in middle school, where I started connecting to anime in a more emotional level, thanks to those movies. So that's why I was like more drawn to the more intense stories, especially after Princess Mononoke. I was like, what the hell am I watching? But you know, like I got to thank it was either I think it was Cartoon Network that showed Princess Mononoke,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Nausicaa, and everything like that, right? Because it's like those stories and how I connected to them in an emotional level made me. Sorry about that. That made me seek out like the Inuyashas, the um just those really dark, gritty, like Akira and Ava and stuff like that. Like I remember watching Ava, and I'm not even in like my freshman year of high school. Like I think it was like the summer before that, and
Did it give you depression?
not really. It just made me go like, wow, anime is very
Deep.
different from
Mhm.
like how I initially like took it in, because when I was younger, like I said, Pokemon, and I think I mentioned it on the Pokemon episode as well. The Pokemon games were like my quote unquote anime for me, because I wasn't really looking at these more mature shows yet. But once, the Princess Mononoke and all those other like animes sort of snuck their way into my vision, that's when I think anime shifted for me. Like in middle school, high school era, that's when I started, um, looking at really darker stories and whatnot. And that's when anime sort of shifted into more than just, hey, for kids, Saturday night, like Saturday morning cartoons, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? It was more, wow, this is a medium that can be literally anything. It can be, your fun Pokemons to your really depressing, like Avas and Experiments Lane and all that sort of stuff, and anything else you stayed awake for, and God forbid you
Watch.
watched and had to go to bed and contemplated,
So
like
when you
nuts.
think about anime as it is like right now in your life, how does it fit in your life right now?
It's a really unhealthy part of my life, if I'm being
What?
completely honest.
Mm.
Yeah.
No.
Well, like,
What it
say
do to you,
unhealthy.
man?
Look, I
What
say
it do to
unhealthy,
you?
but I mean like I don't mean unhealthy in a negative way. I mean
You kind of said it. Like,
Nothing
it's
doesn't.
like it's like a major part of who I am now, which is
ain't nothing wrong with
hilarious.
that. Ain't
No,
nothing
but
wrong
it's
with that.
hilarious because it's like there's so many people you interact with in life. It's like, wow, you just don't know how much of a weeb I am. Like,
We know. We're your friends.
no.
We know.
Right,
You be at
right.
work and then it's like people are like, I got this other side of me you don't even know.
I don't hide it. I
Yeah.
don't hide it, man.
We're the
It's
man
like
persona.
all these you meet people who are, quote unquote normies and whatnot, but you can tell them like, look, every single piece of entertainment that you're looking for, there's an anime for it.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And
And I
it's
think that's another thing too, not to cut you off, but it's
no,
just
no,
like,
go ahead.
the anime, like just the different ranges, like the different genres that there are now. It's like, you've got your life, we got Game of Thrones. Well, you can find a show that's like Game of Thrones in anime form.
That's
What is
And
the show? The show's like Game of Thrones.
I think you bring up a really good point, but I think it's deeper than that. Like, I think that for me personally, for example, anime was really there for me growing up at a time when I felt like I needed stories to kind of really
Oh,
make my life complicated. Like, my life was too simple.
what?
What? Okay,
Oh,
I
you
didn't
were
know you were
looking
going
for the
there.
drama. You were
But
looking
Yo,
for the
you were
drama.
looking
I,
for the
I got
drama.
you. I got
You
you.
were looking for the
Follow me
drama.
on this.
Wow.
You're right.
Follow me on this
Wow.
one, because
You're right.
follow me on this one, because nothing that you had going on as a 13, 14-year-old something was ever going to be as complicated as Ichigo's situation, as Ranma's situation, as Kagome's situation. Like, nothing that you had going on was ever going to be that crazy. So you'd sit and you'd watch and be like, wow, that's crazy. I
I
can't
can
believe what's
I can
happening.
detest to it because as a kid growing up, it was a lot of stuff like for us family wise that was like crazy. So anime was kind of like an escape for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Really
speak
enough.
for yourself.
Yeah, yeah, it was more of an escape.
High school was
Well,
crazy.
hear
High
me
school
out.
was crazy. Middle school was crazy. I
Hear
was
me
out
out.
for a while too.
When I say it wasn't, crazy, I'm not saying that life wasn't complicated. If anything, I can absolutely agree with the majority of you that life was a little too real for me at that age of time.
Mhm.
But it was never, there are demons in my closet, real, like
Okay.
real demons. That's
No,
what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Okay.
Like, I think there was something really comforting about saying, "Gee, I'm super glad that I don't have to like jump out my window, run into the time flux well, and go shoot some demons with a bow and arrow that I just learned today. Like, at least my life's not that far gone."
Maybe you have
I mean,
friends for that though.
I,
Never mind.
yeah,
Sorry. Go ahead.
I
I
kind
would
of
say
get that.
I did too, but I kind of wanted that honestly because
Okay.
it felt like I was living that.
There's
Okay.
fantasy.
In anime, it's more
There's-
controlled.
There's absolutely nothing wrong if we enjoyed the same things but for different reasons. But I think that one thing that really stands out to me is that the way that I see that now and the way that I saw it then, like a lot of the shows that I watch right now, as we've talked about on the podcast before, I'm a big fan of isekai. I'm a big fan of escapism, right?
Mhm.
And I think that that's what anime is doing for me right now. It gives me a break. It gives me a rest stop. It gives me a chance to close my eyes and say, yeah, no, I would love to just get truck-cooned, but not really. Like, this is not do not send a wellness check to my house. Like, but I would love to get truck-cooned into another universe where all I do is just bake magical pies. Like, I'd love that for me.
Same.
And I feel like that's kind of just the chapter of life that I'm in, and a lot of people that I know are in. And I think that's super interesting because for me, it means that some of the shows that I watched as a kid, I might, not necessarily be looking for or clocking for right now at this stage. Like, for example, I mentioned Wolf's Rain earlier. I was all about that John when I was a kid. Now, I really don't know that the person that I am now, if Wolf's Rain came out tomorrow, that I'd be like, oh my God, I have to see that. I'd
Mhm.
probably be like, is there something a little more like cheerful or like funny,
Yeah.
It's a bit
Something less
angsty.
depressed than.
or maybe something like dials it up to 100 or something. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
there are a lot of things that are still going on. Like, One Piece has been on all our lives, and we will die before One Piece does. Nobody ever talks about it, but Case Closed is also almost as long.
Yeah.
It's not
Mhm.
longer
Case
than One Piece.
Closed is never going to end.
I don't ever want it to end.
It's never going to end.
Gosha Aoyama has had me in a choke, and I love it that way. And I will never, ever not swear allegiance to that man. However, I think that those series are just some of the series for me that are evergreen. They're not going anywhere in my life because they serve the same purpose that they always have. They really ground. And I think that it's just super interesting to hear what kind of your taste really evolves with time. Just because anime does something differently now than it used to.
If I could also bring it back to what Ali said about isekai, it's kind of interesting how different isekai was back when I was a kid in the 90s. Because these days, like she said, you get trucked to another world and you get OP powers and you become the god of the new world doing whatever you want. Back in the day, a lot of isekai shows were about, like you said, Kokome going through the well, but at the end of the day, she goes home. A lot of isekai weren't about escaping to the other world to stay.
Mm.
I find that kind of interesting because I don't know if anybody.
It's a little bit depressing, honestly.
Yeah.
They were kind of about going and doing a mission, like something important, but completing an assignment. There was always that backdoor saying, yes, there's going to be a way home, or the whole point is to find a way home. Where a lot of isekai now, the point of the isekai is not
going
to
back
find a
home.
way home.
Yeah, don't look
It's
back.
going back
Don't
home.
look
That's not where I'm
back.
at.
The point is almost
Life.
inversely like, why
Yeah.
the hell would I go back home? It's dope here. I love it here.
Vibe. That's a vibe.
Yeah, I mean, now that you
Yeah.
mention it, like isekais back in the day, because like I was thinking about like Digimon Tamers, how I saw that as a kid,
Yeah.
and rewatching it, I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, that was really dark.
Yeah. No,
know?
it's really, really, really dark.
Yeah, it's really dark, but it's like that sense of almost not powerlessness, but not being able to, I guess, tackle the challenge the same way isekais are like tackled now, right? If you watch isekai nowadays, it's almost like unheard of that you're not busted. You know what I mean? Like you don't have all
Yeah.
these crazy
Yeah.
powers. But back in the day, if you were thrown into another world, everything and anything could get you. You know?
It's so true.
It's true.
Yeah,
It-
They
that's
had a
true.
bow and an arrow and nothing else.
But
Right.
that's the only reason why I say, like, back in the day, I wasn't in an immediate rush because I never thought of myself as OP as a kid.
Yeah.
I almost think that I was the type of kid to think that I didn't deserve that kind of protagonist armor. So maybe that's why I did something different for me. But a lot of these shows, like it really makes me think like what a generational difference it must make. For us who were kind of forced to grow up, like my generation who were forced to kind of grow up very quickly, and anime at that time kind of reflected that. You either you either strapped in or you ran out of the room crying. Like, which is it gonna be? But a lot of anime now, they're just like, you have a fully diverse market, so we're gonna say whatever we want, do whatever we want. Everybody gets plot armor. Anything is possible, and if you don't like it, go watch another show because the market's oversaturated. And I think that's amazing. That's incredible.
It's interesting. Kind of sad in a way because I do miss those kind of shows.
If you want to go back to Berserk, my boy, just do it. You like
go Berserk with your isekai again, but I like Vision of Escaflowne and the main character being just
yes,
a romance novel who didn't have these OP powers. She had like one ability and she had to make it work. While the main protagonist had a giant mech she had to just pal around with.
I mean, I feel like back in the day, being a girl in an isekai was almost your part of your superpower set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the fact that you're here is superpower enough, girl.
Yes, like let's be real. Like being a girl was one of Kagome's superpowers, and you can't change my mind.
Yeah,
not wrong.
I agree.
I also think that isekai was a lot more unconventional back in the day. Like, I don't know if anybody ever saw Those Who Hunt Elves.
Why?
Because it was weird.
No!
It was just a bunch of Japanese dudes who rolled around the elven royal lands in a tank. One was a martial artist, one was a gun expert, and one could dress up. But it was freaking hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
It was freaking hilarious. I like that about the old school isekai, man. It went places. Nowadays, it's all the same concept.
Well,
It technically is though. It's like comfort.
Well, I think back then it was really more narratively driven, and I think that a lot of isekai today are more like setting driven, world building driven. They're all about exploring where you are. Like, of course, did old school isekai do that? Of course, yeah, but it was really about the mission.
Right. All right. I need you guys to help me unpack this because I just had this thought. I don't know if I'm being dumb or something, but like, yeah. So back in the day, I don't know if it's because I was younger, but did anime seem more abstract?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on it?
I think I know what you mean by, because do you mean by abstract like it looked better than what
because fighting foodons looked really good when I was a kid.
Oh my gosh, no.
I can't get over that.
You're gonna have to explain. I'm pretty sure that's not what he meant, though.
That's not what he meant, but please do elaborate.
But that's why I'm like, I'm gonna need you guys' help because like nowadays, I don't know. It just feels like I don't have to contemplate or think too deeply about a lot of the anime that's coming out. Don't get me wrong. It's not like they're not. They're not that they're not deep enough or anything like that. I just feel like as a kid, there was a lot more time spent thinking about themes and character motivations and whatnot. That's why I'm like wondering, is that because I was just a dumb kid, or is that just the way
I think maybe that goes.
Watching, honestly,
yeah, I think that goes in like let's say you were watching anime in high school, and then like you would like you said you would think deeply. Like maybe a good example might be Bleach, maybe. And like Ichigo and him like want to protect his family and like that whole thing, and maybe it goes with like what we were going through at that time, and then as we got older we learned to kind of like we got a better understanding of ourselves, and maybe we watch anime now and it's like, oh, I get what they mean by that. There's something about you get it now than you get it like when you were younger because you were still figuring shit out.
I would,
or would you say
also
it's more of a trend type thing, like a pattern that you see in anime that you're like a characteristic pattern that you see and you're like, oh, okay, I know that person's about that, just like the anime that I watched back then. Do you mean like in that kind of way? Like it's like, okay, that person's that kind of type. Like you categorize each person, each character within the show, and you already know their next movement. So it's like, oh, okay, they're gonna do that, and that, and they're gonna blush.
I can think
it's
about
like
that.
So it's
I
not.
guess it's like strokes of both. Definitely what like High Top was saying, but I think Charlie, you added a nuance to it as well, right? It's like back in the day with anime, it's like I definitely think it's because, as when we're younger, we're thinking through life and whatnot. So we probably draw a lot more parallels with the the people that were watching characters, but to us they were people, right? Like I don't know about you guys, but um just how they're navigating through life or what the theme of the anime was how deep Lane must have been for some people or Ergo Proxy or freaking um
So I actually
Hmm.
I have a thought on this, and frankly, this is just a thought, just a personal opinion. But a lot of the anime that you consumed was at a very formative time in your life, but it was also at a certain specific time in your education. Uh, around that middle school, high school time, you're really thought to kind of break down a lot of complex processes and really kind of push your cognitive functions. Really, it's conditioning of the mind almost. Like you step into school and you read complex tests and you're asked, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? What do you feel the themes were? All those little things you learned about writing papers, you kind of took that skill uh, with you in life, and you just apply it naturally, kind of how you build your understanding of the world around you. And I think that as you kind of encounter other things in life, just not just anime, but with anything, you'll encounter things that are complex and things that are simple. And the more you take in, the more you kind of start to develop what Charlie was talking about. You get that predictability. You really start to see like, oh, I can predict that this is going to happen because in this type of story, this tends to happen. But you also kind of learn to read between the lines, like High Top was saying, in that a story that's a little more dense and about like multiple themes, not just the hero's journey, but just what it means to sacrifice for the greater good. And the more shows like that you consume and the more complex ideas you're exposed to, I think the easier it becomes for you to really kind of understand those things without a lot of effort. And
mhm.
so after years and years of kind of watching anime that challenges you, I think it makes sense that nowadays you're kind of watching anime and you're like, oh, I can keep up with this. It's not such a heavy lift. Like, whereas maybe back in the day, you were kind of sitting with Eva and you're like, okay, episode 1, robots. Um, episode 16, I get despair. Do I get despair though? And you kind of have to sit with it. You have to,
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly,
like
exactly.
it came to you at a different time, but now you've had a lot of exposure to a lot of different shows that have really played with a lot of different complex ideas and themes and journeys for characters, and you kind of learn to see on site and understand on site when a
Mhm.
character is built well, when they're really
Mhm.
fleshed out, and versus when this person is literally just here to serve a purpose or to move the story along, and you're just not clocking for them. I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah. So I,
I
I
think
would
that's
say after the way you guys unpack that I can add that to sort of my journey with anime. Like anime was there with me in my formative years and to help, I guess, break down my own values. You know what I mean? Like I guess something to compare my values to, like to see it in parallels in stories and whatnot. So I can say anime has sort of been there for me in that sense. Go ahead now. I think you were saying
That
something.
was pretty deep.
I was,
No,
I
I
was,
agree though.
I was gonna agree. Because one thing I realized is that back in high school, a lot of shows I watched that I really thoroughly enjoyed. Quite frankly, I could not tell you back then why I enjoyed them. Honestly, why I latched myself to like certain characters, etc. But like watching more shows over time, like I could think back to it now and go like, oh, now I know why I like this character. I can explain their motivations, their personality, their struggles, and that's essentially why. Like over time, you do kind of develop a sense of like your taste, being able to like basically do like deep dives into anime analysis, basically, and just recognizing the tropes, and you just get better at it. So like after a while, certain shows aren't gonna hit you the same sometimes because you're gonna realize, oh, I've seen this already. Like I've recognized all the patterns. Like I've seen these tropes. When back in the day, it probably would have like hit you so strongly, honestly. And similarly, watching some like newer shows, you might go like, oh, I haven't seen this kind of thing done since like Ava or whatever. It's like I'll be curious to see where they go with this, things like that. Um, but yeah, I get it. I was about to give my origin story, but now I think I won't.
No,
Oh.
go
No,
ahead.
I'm curious.
Yeah, like we didn't get yours.
When I watched anime, it like I didn't discover it on my own. I discovered anime through my brother actually. He would stay up late at night, and me being a little sister following her brother, I wanted to spend time with him. So one day I just stayed up with him, and then I saw he was watching Inuyasha and whatnot. And granted, I like watched Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh and whatnot, but I like High Top. I didn't realize that was like anime. Like
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't until I stayed up with him that night and then saw like Inuyasha and whatnot that I realized, oh, this is anime. And then it became kind of a regular thing for us. That's how we spent most of our time together, usually just watching anime and talking about it. That was how we bonded, honestly. So, and I think that's part of the reason I got so into anime. Like, I don't want to make it sound like I have like a BrotherCon or something, but like
Nah.
It's okay.
but like, but like, but like as a little like middle school girl, like little sister, I really valued that time that we had together and that we continue to have together. Like, I mean, eventually he did stop watching anime, and then I kind of just like
Ran
Stay
with
with it, yeah. I get
Ran
you.
with it.
ran with it like like 9 miles ahead. And then eventually, surprisingly, like one day, I think like in high school, he like slowly got back into it, and then it went back right to us watching anime. I would actually recommend shows like we'll like set time, like a schedule. Sometimes be like, oh, let's watch this show together, kind of thing. I realize now that I still do that in a way. Like there's a friend of mine that like every like Monday, Wednesday, or whatever days, like we'll watch anime together. And I realized that like watching anime with people, I really do like that. Which is probably why like I think in the last episode I was talking about how much I like the anime community and being able to talk about things with people. I think I didn't realize this until this podcast, but I really like bonding with people over anime for some reason. It's just it's something special for me.
Damn, nah, it's wholesome.
That's so
Beautiful.
cute.
That's
Shut up.
wholesome.
So cool.
Yeah, you wanted to
Shut up.
skip, yo, man. I'm-
Shut up.
Aw,
Oh shucks.
Don't you awe me.
aw.
Dang.
So
We
dope.
can watch more anime with you, Night.
Of
Fuck you.
course.
I don't wanna.
But nah, like overall, like I think we can all agree that like over time, anime was something that we kind of needed, but then we kind of grew to kind of like understand it, and you know, we use that as a way to kind of like bond with people, bond with like family and friends, and learn life lessons, and pretty much, you know, guys, like we like Lodi said, like we started to see a lot more of the tropes, and over time, like, you know, we got used to it, but we kind of go back to it, kind of go back like, oh, you know, I get that now.
You know, from the other side of Nai's experience, I felt like I really got to come into when my younger siblings started watching it, and watching we both we both love swimming, and we both love to be in the water. So watching Free with them was kind of like a rite of passage, and this was around like when Netflix was still cool and cheap and just coming up, and their library like fire. And I just have so many good memories. My younger sibling coming into my room, kind of pushing the door in and being like, "Owie, can we watch this? Owie, can we watch that?" And just and I genuinely have I genuinely have so many good memories tied to just kind of sitting there and taking in those stories that it almost felt like a transition from anime taking me seriously, like having all work with adult themes in it available to me, to seeing more shows that were about people our age, like, you know, kids in high school just being kids, just trying to figure out life. And it's one reason sports anime always really resonated, because you didn't need to have like laser eyes and neon powers and, you know, some kind of galactic space force after you to have the world really crushing at your feet. You know, you could achieve that just as easily by losing, you know, a game by a single point, and there's no feeling like really getting swept up in a sports anime. And that particular genre just really hit for me and my sibling time. And I feel like for every chapter in our lives together, just with my friends and family, there's always been just kind of a gentle movement from genre to genre, because anime can serve so many purposes, and just telling you stories, kind of guiding you.
Oh,
More
You there?
wholesomeness.
oh, you
Oh,
kind
no.
of got cut off there, Ollie. You all right?
Are we?
Yeah, sorry about that. Just I don't know.
Wait, are you still talking or are you
You
still
jump
back
with
now?
some beautiful
Oh,
stories.
Oh,
no,
Oh my
man.
gosh.
I'm not crying, you freak. Calm down.
Okay, it's
Your
okay.
tears.
It's
Dang.
It's a safe space here, Ali.
I was trying to think
It's a
of
safe space till it goes on YouTube.
It's not
Still be
that.
okay for you.
You're good.
Tears
Oh.
of joy.
It's not that. I was trying to think of where this really overlapped with a lot of the content moving to streaming platforms, because it really wasn't just the fact that it was accessible to us at that time. Like, once all of these things started moving to streaming, and Crunchyroll, you know, kind of abandoned us for legitimacy. You know, it almost became that much easier to share these kinds of things with your friends and family long term and long distance. You know, and I just appreciated the way that helped anime kind of follow you through life that much more. That's all.
Aw.
Damn. Like, how does Will from like
Dry your
wholesome
tears.
episode? Jeez.
I think I'll add on a little bit.
Let me add my story now.
Oh yeah, that's right. We never
Word,
got
word.
you.
Ali, please.
I'm sorry.
Origin story.
Now you've been
Alright.
waiting in the cut.
Yeah, I've been waiting. I like have it building up, listening. Okay.
Oh, it's about
So
to be dark.
anyway, no, it's okay. So I started with anime because, you know, I was pretty much a crackhead for cartoons. I was one, like I always said, I was one of the brokies. Didn't have cable, so
Mhm.
I would watch any kind of cartoon anytime. If Saturday was available, I was watching 13, Channel 21, all that stuff.
I know them well.
Yeah, and so the first time I ever, and don't judge me, please. The first time I ever watched Dragon Ball was on Telemundo because they had it on
Oh, I'm
there.
with you.
Yo.
I'm with you.
Yes.
Correct.
It's the Spanish channel. the
No,
channel
I-
47.
Oh my god.
No, I absolutely did see it on Telemundo too.
It was. Yeah, so I watched it there.
That's why I got so used to watching Naruto on YouTube with the Spanish,
Exactly.
with the Spanish audio, with the English subtitle.
Yeah, and it was like I just was like, okay, I need more of this kind of show. You know, it was that they had Escaflowne in this other anime called Red Baron, but they said it in Spanish. So I was just watching. I didn't understand what they were saying. I kind of figured it out, but like I was just watching. I'm like, yeah, this is it. And as like my brother, who was also into anime, who, you know, was like similar to Nayoka story, was the one that stayed up late and watched the shows. he got me into the the late night shows, and once we got cable, of course, the late night shows that kind of came up, and he was the first ever that got me into Cowboy Bebop and recorded it for me on a VHS tape.
Aw.
That was on my over my mom's soap opera, mind you. She was pissed though, but yeah. So like that was more of my thing. To kind of tie in forward, I know what I appreciate more so about it, because I was like kind of the loner kid that was into anime and everyone else was into like, I'm from the city, so like a lot of people were into 106 and Park and BET and stuff like that. No one was really watching anime or anything like that. So when I like finally discovered people that were in it, was like full circle in life, like, okay, finally my tribe, people that like reading manga and like watching anime too as well. So it's like it was comforting me, like especially during like the crazy times in life when it was just like so much going on. Anime was kind of like that. Okay, even though there's so much going on, these people are here in this show right now are like killing it or trying to push through with the power of friendship or the heart of cards or whatever. So you can do the same. Yeah, they're trying to move forward, kind of like that's why I like Digimon, like because it was like even though they got isekai and like that weird world that's not really, it's a digital
world.
a digital world that's made of code. They still like strive to like trying to get out of it and also try to make the best of their situation, which I kind of like, oh, okay, I like that. And then you kind of like, I bonded a lot with the characters in the show too, because it was like, okay, like I'll give you an example, like Biazamon from season 3 Digimon Tamers. He was that character that no one really with like that, but he had a partner, he had like trainers that were his, but he abandoned them because he felt like they abandoned him prior. So he himself figured out a way to digivolve on his own. Like I'm like, damn, that's really inspiring. Like this dude by himself was able to level up without the help of everyone else. Just like each other Digimon, they had to have a tamer or something. And I'm like, oh, okay, I like that. Like, I always like the behind that, because it's like, okay, if he can do it, I can do it. And that was like my mindset when I was younger. Like, okay, they're doing this stuff. Let me see if I can learn. Let me make myself that character, in my head. Let me change my personality. And I kind of like shifted my personality wise to like fit certain, like to be like certain characters or key points in certain characters, just so I can like level up, So, but that was anime for me. Like that's I like it.
I felt that so hard.
I felt that
Great,
too.
I know
yo.
exactly what you mean with that loner thing. When my brother left me, but he was no longer into anime, it was just me,
Yeah.
little OB.
That was me
By
too.
herself,
My brother
by
left
herself.
too, and he moved.
That
I'm
could have
like,
been the beginning of your villain origin story.
Word, yo, I was like that Impmon like freaking trail you going on.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. He left me on them swings. He made friends. Like he really did make friends.
He left you on this swing. Okay,
So,
nah.
But now, like, I know exactly because, like I said, like I was watching anime with my brother a lot until he eventually wasn't really into it anymore, and then it really was just me, honestly. And I honestly did not have a lot of friends
Me
at all,
neither.
honestly.
Me neither.
So it was just me. But I remember one time, because my high school had the smallest like manga section, like so small, like in their library. And I remember going there one day, and there was another guy there, and then he saw me pick up a manga, and he gave me a face, and he was just like, "You too?"
Rookie mistake. Man, I tell you what, I used to tear up Helsing at my local library.
Oh God,
Damn
yes.
Man,
Sacred text.
Fruits basket. Oh,
when
God.
my friends introduced me to manga, and it was like the library had like that small section, I read all the books. I didn't care if it wasn't any, like I enjoyed all, like Shaman King to this manga called Beat. Like
Bees.
yeah, like that. I never finished that. I gotta finish that, but it was like it was just dope being introduced to it. And honestly, thinking back to it now, like even though I was off and on with cable and whatnot, there was like one friend in my middle school up into like maybe 7th or 8th grade. Like he came from like the Bronx, and he was like he came to my school and whatnot, and we became best friends. And at the time, like he introduced me to Naruto, and how he introduced me to the Rock Lee episode where he dropped the whips. And he was like, yo, come over. I'm like, I bet. What's up? It's like, you ever saw the show Naruto? I'm like, nah. What's Naruto? And he showed me that way. It's like, yo, what? I was hyped. Just after seeing that episode. I was like, I need more.
High Top, your friend did you a disservice.
No.
Your friend did you a disservice.
Oh my god, what are you about to
Spoiling
say?
that for you.
No,
without showing you the lead up.
But
That is true.
the thing is though, is like at that time, like I was a broke kid. I didn't have internet. I didn't have cable like that. So it was like for me to get introduced to it in that way.
You know, slept over at his house, like just sleepovers are a thing. You
Nah,
just
it
went
was-
over to his house, like
it was
watch
hype.
No,
No,
it was a
Yeah.
different time back then for me and
It was
like in my
You
family and
can't
whatnot.
stay at
you know?
everybody's house now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And if you have strict parents, that is not a no go. Like,
Yo,
Mhm.
you ain't
Mm-mm.
telling anyone. Like I have sick parents. Like I get it.
yeah, mine's are like, no.
Yeah, so pretty much, I think we can all agree that like anime shaped our personalities and who we are today. Honestly, I mean, even like I feel like a lot of our game taste is because of like anime and like what type of influence it has on
Play
us.
Persona. We all play Persona. Like
We've all played Persona. We've all
Okay,
played some
yeah.
sort of anime games or whatnot. But it shaped us. Anime shaped us over the years.
It sure did.
True.
and I will continue to apologize for that. I'm sorry, everyone.
Why?
Why? You're you. Be you. Better you.
Weren't you
Don't
the
be-
one who was saying that you don't hide it when you go to work and everything?
That
Like,
doesn't mean I
yeah,
can't
for real.
apologize for it. Like I won't hide it, but I'm sorry.
So you just what? You bring your body pillow into work saying, I do apologize.
Sorry about the body pillow, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Like
Oh.
honestly, like, I'm so sorry, everyone. Like
Man.
please
Okay, I wish I could do
apologize.
that.
I promise I'll do my work.
I wish I can do that now. This
No,
job, they try to pick up on you like, oh, you like have you heard of Naruto? I'm like,
Legitimately. 'cause, like,
Nah,
I-
honestly, like you got those people at work that are like, just like Lil has said,
Into it.
like they are like weebs or whatnot, but they don't just outright put themselves out
that's
there because
exactly what it is.
Exactly.
Because like
So it's like they
Like-
gotta approach you. It's like, hey, like you watch. I like in my job, I wear a Demon Slayer lanyard that my girlfriend got me, and for my ID, I just wear around. Like I need to express myself in a way, but I'm like nobody's gotta recognize this Demon Slayer thing. Then one dude walked up to me. He was like, "Yo, you watched Demon Slayer?" I was like, "Yeah, I watched Demon Slayer." Oh snap! So you watched like Attack on Titan? We had a conversation. I was like, "Dang, I never even knew." I didn't know it
honestly,
existed.
like legitimately I vibe with that because like at work, like my desk mat is like your name, and then I had a couple of pops that were from anime. And my director like took one look and he was like, "You watch anime?" And we had like a full discussion about anime. It really is like that. Like
When you find your people, man, it just
It
makes life a little bit better.
not all the time though. I can't say
Not all
that.
the time. Not all the time.
No,
but
you
sometimes.
gotta be very specific because sometimes I've been meeting a lot of weirdos. So
yeah, you met me. You met us.
This one time at work,
worse.
yo, this one time at work, someone came up to me, and I did mention like the whole anime thing because there was like a group of us at like a work party or whatever, and then they came up to me and they started talking anime in the middle of like normies.
No.
And like,
Mm.
we were getting ready to go into a meeting.
Exactly.
It's looking left and right like, what are you doing?
Okay,
No.
I am wholeheartedly
my
with you on
director
this
did
one.
that to me once. We were about to go into a team meeting.
That's because you outed yourself. You gotta be careful.
No,
You
I was
gotta
fine
go
with it,
take it back,
honestly. I was
though.
fine
You
with
gotta
it.
take it back. No.
I got his good side, honestly. Like
We'll see.
that is true.
Well,
One day I'll have like a trash opinion, and he'll be like, "I don't know about this girl."
But don't you
No,
watch
but
some
About your future
cartoons?
here at this establishment.
Mm-hmm.
well, all right. Well, this was a really good episode of the Baka Gamers Podcast.
All of our episodes are good.
Yeah, they are good, but
Yeah,
today
right?
was like extra wholesome. I mean, with your
Aw.
little story, it was extra wholesome.
Okay, shut up. End
Yeah.
the podcast.
And Owie was crying a little bit.
I
Oh my
cried,
God.
Owie
Them
cried.
tears.
I did not
I-
cry. I did not
Man.
cry. First of all,
Delicious.
It was
Shedding
pretty
tears, yo. This was a good episode. But all right, we gotta have to end it now. But before we end it, quick announcement. we are now on Spotify. So if you're the type of
Alright.
people who can't watch like, the YouTube video because maybe you're just not into watching podcasts on YouTube, there's Spotify. And working on that iTunes link as well. But if you look at the description below, you'll see a link to the Spotify page, and go ahead and give it a listen, while you're walking, working out, whatever you do, or watching anime if you're into that multitasking thing. But yeah, that was the Baka Gamers podcast. If you have any, share your experiences down in the comments. Like if you got a wholesome story, go ahead and share it. Maybe you could be nice, like wholesome story. I don't know. But no,
Stop bringing attention to it.
it was a good story.
Oh,
It was
tears.
really good.
That's sweet.
But yeah. All right, guys. We're signing off. Have a good night. Peace.
Later.
Good night.
Adios.